Hello, viewers. This is Sentai from TV, bringing you a new podcast for my separate called Super Sentai Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Also, I'll try to do my best not to breach your heart during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain your adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain your adult language. If you're under 18, now if you're over 18, that means you get to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, with this and everything else at the way, let's get into the latest episode of Zenkaiger. So basically, this episode starts off like this. So basically, we see Kaido and Gal, look like they're just coming back to the market, with a bag full of food, coming back to the market, and they're walking past this hill, this glass hill, on a road somewhere, and I believe somewhere near the waterfront of the park or somewhere. Anyway, two kids was happy to see Gal and Kaido because everybody knows that they're the Zenkaiger, so basically, Gal started to play with the kids, and the kids started to tickle him and got into a tickle fight. Gal rolled down the hill, but he was okay. And the kids were happy that they beat a Zenkaiger in a fight, and there's and Gal was was happy that that humans and he was like them, and a Kaiwa like him can get along and have a good time. So until those kids got sucked in by a monster called Recycle. So basically, this monster had the power of the recycling world. So basically, all the good Kaiwas that was there. There was being sucked in by the cycle monster and turned into evil foot soldiers. So basically, coming back, Sid showed up and gave them some chosen gears to these foot soldiers that was turned in. That used to be good Kaiwas and humans, who turned into evil foot soldiers, and Kobashi showed up and gave them these chosen gears to put in their pockets for some reason. So basically, Kaido and Down was like, oh damn, we can't hurt these guys, we can't hurt these people, these people ain't good Kaiwood because they, even though they foot soldiers now, but they're still innocent civilians. So basically, with no choice. So basically, Kaido and Gal walked up and did the best they could to not hurt the people, but and that's when two Kaisers and Shin. And so basically, and that's when two cars showed up. It was showed up and jumped out of his space. He jumped out of his space and showed up on the scene. So basically, two cars was about to fire, and that's when Gal and Kaido told him that no, these people are not. The monster turned innocent civilians into foot soldiers. So that recycling monster turned innocent. Innocent civilians into foot soldiers. So basically, they managed to stop two cars from shooting the innocent civilians that were turned into foot soldiers, and that's when two cartoons noticed that a chosen gear fell out of one of those civilians' pocket that Combat Shin gave them after the recycling monster turned the civilians into foot soldiers. So basically two cartoons like, oh, so these guys have chosen gear. So basically, as so So as you know, he looking for the SD word to turn his brothers, who are little robots now, back into humans. So basically, instead of using his gun, he was just punching the shit out of the innocent civilians who were now foot soldiers. So basically, taking the chosen gears from them. So basically, Kylo and Gal was like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? And and two Kaiser say, shut up, shut up. I'm doing, like I said, like I said, I'm trying to turn my brothers back into humans. So anyway, the others, so basically, Sashin suggests that, Sashin suggests that, just to Kyle to use the Decorator gear to stop two Kaiser from beating up the innocent civilians who are now turned into foot soldiers by the recycling monster, and that's when the other showed up, and he used the Decorator gear so basically the others put handcuffs on two Kaiser and drag away from the fight scene, and Colonel Bassin and the recycling monster decided to retreat for now. So anyway, back at Kyle's grandma's, shop, candy shop, two Kaiser was examining the chosen gears that he got from those civilians that got turned into foot soldiers. And turns out none of these gears doesn't have the word that he's looking for to help turn his body back into humans. And also turns out these chosen gears are fake. So basically, Kylo was like, Kylo and I was like, why would Colonel Bassin give them fake chosen gears, and that's when Zox, aka Two Carter, realized that Commander Bastion is one sick genius. So basically, Dada is like, what the hell do you mean he's one sick genius? And back at the bad guy's hideout, back at the palace, back at the chosen Tento Dynasty palace, Colonel, Commander Bashin was telling him that, we know that Two Kaiser is looking for the chosen gear that changed the mission that cursed his brothers and turned them into robots. So he wants that chosen gear. So basically, by giving them, by me getting them fake chosen gears, giving the people in Cairo that we turn into foot soldiers the fake chosen gears, Two Kaiser will have no choice but to attack the people, and therefore the other Zenkaigers will have to stop Two Kaiser, and therefore turning Two Kaiser. The Zenkaigers will turn against two Kaiser for hurting those innocent civilians that got turned into foot soldiers and whatnot. So basically, that was Commander Bastion's whole plan to use two Kaisers, use two Kaiser use two Kaiser to try to get the Zenkaigers and use the Zenkaiger to try to get two Kaigers. So basically, by giving those civilians that was turning to foot soldiers fake chosen gear, two Kaigers couldn't help themselves but to attack those civilians who were turning to foot soldiers looking for the chosen gear, what the word that he needs to turn his brothers back, and therefore the other Zenkaigers will have no choice but to stop him. That was his brilliant plan. So basically, King Volker and his bird Ging was happy that came up with a better plan. So basically, and Colonel Bassin is like, at least it's better than that useless robot that Professor Isaac made for my son Stacy over there. So basically, Stacy was about to about to trade bloods with his father, and that's for Tibetan Aizen, Tibetan Aizen stopped Stacy from fighting his father, and Aizen said, all right, well, you did cannot with a cover plan this time, but still, this plan could go south. So basically, you see, you saw basically Tibetan Aizen say you did cannot with you cannot with a good plan this time, but still, this could go south. So anyway, meanwhile, back at Kaido's grandma's shop, candy shop, two cousins explained the whole situation that, the better Aizen wants me to fight the people, the foot soldiers who would turn into, explain the whole Colonel Bastion plan to the other Zenkaiger that, this is all a trick, this is all a trick by Colonel Bastion. So basically, he knows that I'm looking for the SD dimension chosen gear. So basically, by giving these civilians who turn into foot soldiers chosen gears, he will know I would not. I would not desist to find that chosen gear, and therefore, by me attacking them, you guys will have no choice but to try to stop me. So basically, Kaido was like, oh, I did. Let's find out another way to stop them and get the chosen gears that Colonel Bastion gave them. So basically, but Zox is like, no way, I ain't gonna shoot. I made it clear that I don't care if I don't care about civilians being turned to foot soldiers right now, but I'm looking for I tell you guys before that I'm looking for the SD dimension chosen gear to turn my body back into human. So basically, I don't care who I have to fight for. So basically, Kaido and others are like, damn, Tugato was acting like a real heartless dick right now, and he left the store, and Gon went after him to try to talk some sense to him, and that's when Kaido realized that, what he saw earlier with the kids in the park with Gon, he came up with a good idea. So anyway, Gal was trying to talk some shit into Zox, aka Kikai, to not have those civilians that were turned into foot soldiers, and Zox was like, why do you give a damn about these people, about the people who turn into evil foot soldiers? You're not even human. You're a fucking thyroid. So basically, and Gal was throwing all lives matter to me. So basically, I don't care if they're kairos or not. All lives matter to me. So basically, by you pull into Commander Bastion's clan, you're just. You're no better than he is. So basically, that's what Flint and his brothers tried to stop down from stopping Zenkaiger once those foot soldiers showed up, and that's when Kaido and the others showed up with some weird feathers, with some weird tickle toys and tickle feathers to force the foot soldiers that were, the civilians that were turning to foot soldiers to submit, and therefore collect their chosen gear. So basically, kind of said that, I noticed how Gal was for a Kairoid, Gal was ticklish. So basically, I figured that since the civilians are evil Kairoid foot soldiers, so there must be also ticklish. So basically, by using these tickle toys, they was not able to hurt people or hurt the people people and still collect the chosen gears that the people have that Colonel Bastion, that Commander Bastion gave them. So basically, they was not able to hurt the people, but still able to collect the chosen gears. So anyway, the recycle monster, and and Kikai and his family was like, thought this was a stupid idea, but thought this was the stupidest idea that they ever seen. But it seems like that kind of idea was working until the recycling monster, was watching, and Zenkaiger and Zox transport to Zenkaiger, and Gal morphed up to help Zenkaiger to fight. To fight the recycling monster by using the go under Sentai gear. They was able to use the jet attack use the go jet attack to destroy the recycling monster, and all the civilians that were turned into prisoners were turned back to normal, and so basically they managed to collect those chosen gears that Commander Bashin gave them earlier, and put it into basket by Kaido. So basically, Kaido asked everybody who was turned into a foster to give please handle any chosen gears that they had in their possession, and gave it to Kaido. So anyway, so basically, King Borko back at the palace was mad that Commander Bastion's plan didn't work, and he Commander was mad that Commander Bastion's plan didn't work as planned, and so basically, they summoned a big monster that absorbed the power of the recycling chosen gear, indicate a giant recycling monster, and brought back four monsters from the four giant monsters that the Zenkaiger defeated in previous episodes. So basically, the sushi monster, the ice monster, the mushroom monster, and the boxing giant monster showed up again, gave to the recycling monster's power. So basically, Kaido, the rest of Zenkaiger, formed the Megazords and tried to fight the monsters, but they was just outnumbered, and they got taken down very quickly and got defeated very quickly. And lastly, Zenkaiger showed up with the clock Kaido, and he used Wiki's Sentai gear to form the Wiki Kaido Megazord, and took down the four giant recycling monsters, and took down the four monsters that the recycling monster brought back with its recycling powers, and just the recycling monster was left. So basically, that's when Stacy showed up with his robot, his Megazord Battle Caesar, on the scene. So basically, the giant recycling monster was to lead that Stacy Caesar showed up with his Megazord to help him take down Kikai, but Stacy Caesar used his robot to take down the giant recycling monster instead, and Kaiser was shocked to see that Stacy Caesar took down his own comrade. So anyway, and the episode ended with Stacy Caesar's Megazord staring at Zenkaiger's Megazord. So basically, this is how the episode ended, with Stacy Caesar's Megazord staring at Zenkaiger's Megazord, and Zenkaiger's Megazord with Zenkaiger and his Megazord staring at Stacy Caesar's Megazord. So basically, this is how the episode ended, with both Megazords staring at each other. Looked like they was ready to do battle, and this is how the episode ended. So anyway, This is a great episode. So basically, in my opinion, this was a good episode. Even though that sticks here, I know that Tukaiger wants to. He's like, I know that Tukaiger wants to help. He wants to get his brothers back. Wants to turn his brothers back into human, and he ain't gonna let anything stop him. But this could lead to a head that Kyle. This could lead to a head that Carter finally needs to do something about the situation once and for all. So anyway, this was a very good episode that could lead to a conclusion that two countries too reckless and Kaido aka Zenkaiger need to do something about Two Kaiser once and for all. So anyway, this was a good episode. This was a good episode. So basically, I can't wait to next week's episode to get a final conclusion where Kaido and Zox finally need to set that Kaido needs to finally check Two Kaiser once, check Zox aka Two Kaiser once and for all. So anyway, this was a good episode. So anyway, what do you guys think about this episode? Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it just okay? Please let me know what the comments below this podcast. So anyway, like always, this is Michael from Squeebee. Sign off. 1.